Good.
All right, so we are recording. So tonight is Wednesday, April the 11th, and you guys are in for a big treat because Lindsay is a fantastic coach. She is absolutely wonderful at branding. It's her jam, and it's actually what she does in her daytime life. She has taught our immediate team so much. So I am so excited for her to share with you guys all about branding, all about how she does what she does. A little bit of background on Lindsay. She has been a coach for, do you realize it's like barely been 2 years that you've been a coach? It seriously feels like you've been a coach forever. And she has just like taken this business, completely ran with it. I have been so proud to have her on my team. She joined my team with my friend Cassie, who is her cousin. And I remember Cassie was like, I've got this hard charger. She is a total firecracker. It's going to be amazing. And I was like, yeah. Heard it all before. And this girl blew up, you guys. So she hit diamond back in December of last year, and we all just like did the dance of joy. I got to meet her at Summit. I actually got to share a house with her at Summit last year, which was amazing. So let's go ahead and get to the call. If you guys have any questions, any concerns, please pop them into the chat. I will be checking the chat. And just a gentle reminder, I am not going to be able to mute people. So if you guys could all mute yourselves, and Lindsay, if we hear some background noise, we'll just kind of be like, hey, stop. So, all right, girl, take it away.
Okay. Okay, so I'm going to be sharing my screen. And like Crystal said, if you guys have questions, go ahead and pop them in here. I will forewarn you, I feel like there's kind of a lot of information in here. I actually cut out quite a few slides, so like it's supposed to be 30 minutes. I need to chill out. But I feel like there's so much that goes into branding and the topics that I'll be going over. So if you want me to expand on anything, I can always do that like in a live video in our S.W.E.A.T page too. So, okay, so I'm going to share my screen so you can see what's going on. Okay. All right, you guys see that? Let me turn this off. Sorry, I see all my notifications. Okay. All right, so I can't see you guys or anything. So Crystal, I guess just yell at me if there's something going on that I need to know about. Okay, so I am talking about leading with your brand. I think that this is a really big thing to talk about when it comes to branding and being a coach. Because I think especially as new coaches, one thing we get caught up in is like, how do I differentiate myself? And I would say that, did somebody say something? No, we're good. I would say that for me, I didn't even with my background in graphic design and that kind of thing, I didn't even think twice about branding myself because I thought I'm a Beachbody coach, like that's who I am and that's what I identify with. And I was really excited about that. But you guys have heard so much about, you know, do we refer to Shakeology as Shakeology? Do we refer to Energize as Energize? And I'll talk about some of those things. But I really want to focus on the importance of leading with you, because that is how people are connecting to you to be their coach. We know that there's a million coaches out there. And why do they want to be a part of your tribe and have you help them with their fitness goals? So that's kind of what this is going to be about. So, wait, I think I'm missing something here. Oh no, I guess that's right. Okay. Let's get back into that. Okay, so a tool to kind of get started, I broke this up into like 2 different ways, is you want to think about your visual brand, and then you're also going to be thinking about your content brand. So your visual should have to do with like, you know, what your posts look like. So when you think of like graphic design, that kind of thing, and I know some of you are going to be like, I have no idea, this is totally out of my realm. I do want to put a little tidbit in there that when I went live a couple weeks ago in our S.W.E.A.T page. I did talk about like a little training on Canva and how you can use that for really simple graphic design. And I actually went over a lot of these similar steps. So I'm not going to get too crazy into that because you can always refer back to that. But if you guys have questions, you can, tag me in a post in our page and I can help you. But the visual side of your branding is literally visual. That's pretty self-explanatory, right? So what kind of colors, and this is a tool I want you to use. So make a list of those visual things. What kind of colors do you want to represent your brand? What kind of elements? And maybe that's a term that graphic designers use and you're like, what are elements? One example would be like the marble background that you see here. That can be considered an element. Or if you just love putting hearts on everything, like that can be an element that you want a part of your brand. What kind of fonts do you want? Do you want really bold fonts? Do you want really scripty fonts? Do you want handwritten fonts? And I know this might seem silly to have to think about this kind of stuff, but I promise you when it comes to making your posts and kind of organizing your Canva folder, if that's something you plan on doing, or I posted about this before too, using a third party. Like you guys can go on Etsy, or if you have a friend who's a graphic designer, you can ask them for help and pay somebody to do this for you. But a graphic designer is going to ask you for these kind of things. So if you could wrap your head around what your visual stuff looks like, it's going to be really helpful to clarify that first. And then photo styles.
When is the last day of April?
Wait.
Photo styles, like
I don't know, but look at your calendar.
I think somebody is not muted. I can't see. All right, I'm gonna keep going. So photo styles, like when it comes to Instagram, are there certain filters that you really like using? You want your pictures to look a certain way, that kind of thing. So then the other part of it is making a content list. And we always talk about like our big five, like what are the 5 things that represent you as a person? I don't want to say as a coach because I think a lot of times when we make that list of 5, the one thing we always put in there is fitness, or you put coaching or something like that. I think, and anyone can jump in, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think those 5 should come from who you are, because that is the brand that surrounds what you do and supports what you do as a coach. So coach kind of comes with it, right? That should be your 6th thing. But what are the 5 things that would make your content? So this is the stuff like the meat of what you're posting and like what you're posting about. So who you are, what you love, and what makes you different. I just said that. So your list shouldn't include fitness unless it's outside of Beachbody. So like if you're a Zumba instructor or if you're a yoga teacher or something, like totally have that be a part of your 5. That's a big part of what you do. But if it's just Beachbody coaching, I would say try a little bit harder and find 5 things about you. So for visuals, I'm using myself as an example. So for me, black and white, and of course I use this this PowerPoint to kind of represent this, but black and white, that's a big thing that I like to use. I like to use the white and gray marble background, pops of gold and emerald green, clean whitened photos when I'm on Instagram or editing my pictures, and then I really like mixing script and blocky fonts. And I think I have an example of my stuff in here. Oh yeah, so these are a few posts that I've made, and you can kind of see how those things come together. So it's a pretty whitened photo. I use black and white blocky font, and then you can see some gold accents within the picture. Same thing here, I'm using like the same marble background. And then on this one, I'm kind of popping it with gold and emeralds. So that just shows you like a visual of what my brand and how I want. And the reason why we do this, I probably should have said this earlier, but the reason why branding visually is so important is because you want some consistency with being on social media. Like you guys know, if you follow a certain brand like Nike, or if you follow Lululemon or something like that, you know that when you're scrolling, you can almost identify their posts as they come through. And if that's something you're really into, that brand, you're going to stop your scroll and read it, right? So you want to make sure that you're consistent with what your visuals are just as much as you are with those 5 things that come with your content, the things that are about you. So now when it comes to content, using myself as an example again, my 5 things is I'm vegan, plant-based eater. I'm an artist by day, so I'm a graphic designer by day. I have IBS and I struggle with it. I'm pretty open about that. I'm also a cat mom to Kevin. and I married my high school sweetheart. So these 5 things are things that show up often in my feed. Okay. Oh, married high school sweetheart, not my high school. So this is just like a snapshot of my Instagram. So you can see I've kind of mixed a lot of that stuff in there. And you can take it one step further. I know that a lot of people do this, but right where it has my name, I don't know if you can see my mouse, but my name, and then you can see it says health seeker, vegan, IBS warrior, like all those things represent my 5, just to give another snapshot of my brand and keep it consistent. But in here, you can see my husband and I are in the center. I post about being vegan. That pizza post actually had to do with like my IBS, knowing that that was going to kind of jack my stuff up. I have some illustrations in here, that kind of thing. So just making sure, and I heard a really good tip, just to do like a gut check of your social media to make sure that you're staying on brand with that content. Just go to your Instagram, for example, and look at the first 3 lines, I think it is, and make sure that those 5 things are kind of popping up within those 3 lines. If they're not, and I do this all the time, like my illustrations and artwork is usually the one thing that's missing. So I always have to make sure, okay, I haven't really posted about artwork. That's a reason why a lot of people follow me. So maybe I should really pop a new piece in there or something like that. Okay, so now that I kind of taught you about like how you can get started on figuring out who you are with your brand, whether it's visual or the content side of it, you're like, okay, cool. Maybe you've heard this stuff before, but what do you do now? You already know all of this. How can you take branding a step further for yourself? So this is one thing that I always tell myself. And when I was thinking about this for this presentation, I was like, maybe this isn't second nature for everyone else, but I work in the fashion industry for the side of like graphic design. So we're always working a year ahead. So when I see things, even if it is with coaching and like the way that people post or whatever, I feel like my mind constantly is like, okay, that's cool. I see a lot of people posting like that, or I see a lot of people doing things a certain way, but how can I do it differently? Because I know that's going to get old really quick. Now I say that not to overwhelm everyone, because I don't want you to feel like, okay, I'm just now getting started. I'm just getting used to what it is to be a coach and how to post and when to post and what to post. And I don't want you to take that as if you need to do like bigger, better, faster. But if you feel like, okay, I really want to post, and I'll use a couple examples in a second, but I really want to post this type of engagement post, but I feel like I never get traction on it. Maybe you should do a check of your social media and the coaches that you follow. Are they always posting that too? Maybe you should switch it up and gear it more towards your brand, because your market is following you for a reason. If they really wanted to work with another coach, they would be following them, and maybe that would resonate with them even better on that other coach's page. So I'll show you a few examples here. So for engagement posts, like I said, so this is one example, like everyone is using those GIF engagement posts. If you're sick of them, your audience probably is too. So I'm personally starting to get sick of them. You guys, if they're working for you, please keep posting. I'm not telling you not to post those things, but it's those engagement posts on Facebook where you're like, yeah, if you're going out this weekend, drop a GIF below on how crazy you're going to get, or whatever it is. And then all these people are posting all these GIFs. So if that's something where you're like, oh, there's another one of those things, and you're flying through them, your audience might be doing the same. So this is an example of you're like, well, how can I do an engagement post that's different than what I keep seeing out there to make people stop their scroll? So a good example would be maybe doing a photo collage asking people for opinions. So this is one that I did when I was trying on those Warby Parker glasses. And I did it, one, because I really did want the opinions. I needed help deciding, but I figured this would be a really good engagement and, you know, get people involved in my social media and that kind of thing without it having to do with coaching specifically. So for me, I got 54 comments. I was really proud of that. And maybe that's not big for other people, but it was for me. So it told me that this type of engagement post was really working for me. So then another one would be like a call to action post. So that's when you're saying like, I'm starting a new challenge group. Who wants to join? Or who wants to become coach too? Of course, you would word it so much better. If you feel like you're getting really sick of the scripted selfies with comment below if you're really excited about joining my group or something like that. If that's something that you seem to not be attracted to with other coaches is they're posting, or if you find that you post those constantly and you're not getting anywhere and people, and this is a true example for me, like I feel like I do this often. I'll take a selfie, maybe I'm flexing in it, and I'll have this whole paragraph about why my groups are awesome, and then at the bottom I'll say comment below if you want to join or drop your email below. And lately they haven't been working for me. So that was something that I was like, I have to reconsider what I'm doing here and how can I brand this back to like me being real. So maybe instead you can take a photo of you wearing your skinny jeans and talking in your real voice, like literally typing as you would talk. I think I've been seeing that a lot more, and there's been a lot, like with people on my team, they've been doing that, and the engagement is so authentic. And so I would just consider try switching it up a bit and really like putting yourself in that post, and talking about how your challenge groups or your accountability partners or your virtual gym buddies or whatever you call it have really helped you get into those skinny jeans. So an example, this was me from 2016. Still went with my brand. It's a bright post, pretty colors, that kind of thing. Today, I would never post something like this. One, it has 3-day refresh in there, and I'll get to talking about brand names and stuff in a minute. It also has a bunch of like font. There's just a lot going on. So for me, I wouldn't post this again. And then if you were to read kind of what I said, I'm like, comment below if you want to do the refresh with me. Nobody knows what the refresh is. Like, I don't think I got a comment in another language that I don't even know. So I didn't get very far with this. So I would say, don't do that. This one was really good. This is from my cousin Cassie. She's my sponsor coach. This one stopped my scroll. And she posted this. These were goal shorts for her. For this summer, she has a plan. She has 9 weeks till Memorial Day, and she wants to get in shape to put on her goal shorts. And I would even go as far as saying this wasn't even a straight up call to action. She doesn't say comment below or that kind of thing. She is just generally speaking and talking about how it brings it back to her, who she is, and the goals that she has. And I know that there was a lot of engagement on this post. So what do I have next? Oh, signups. So this is very similar to kind of like a call to action, but different ways that you can do it. A lot of times, and if I'm going too fast, Crystal, holler if people are like, slow down. I know it's a lot of information. I can share this, this PowerPoint with you guys too if you want to go back through. So sign up. So a lot of times if we want somebody to join our group, what we do is we create that call to action post and we say comment below, or we use some kind of, fancy version of that phrase. But instead, maybe you could try Google Forms and use that as an application, not only for your groups, but also for the coaching opportunity, like a coaching application. I know we've talked about this in Sweat Society before, and if this is something that overwhelms you or you're not really sure how to do this, let us know, because if this is a training that you guys would like, is how to create Google Forms and use them, and you need a template to start with or something, let us know, because for me, they've been very helpful. And as Rachel says, they kind of help you like work while you sleep, because they're already living out there. People can, go and share information with you. And then you're already getting like this list of people that you kind of have as your warm leads. So not only does it allow you to get to know that person a little bit better based on their goals and what they fill out in that Google form, but it looks professional. So it's leading with you and your brand. It's not leading with Beachbody directly, right? Because you created this form. It's an application that they're answering questions that you created. And it also allows you to use your brand. And I think I'll get to that in a second. Like when you create that Google form, you can add in all of those visual elements if you wanted. So you can have it black and white with the marble background or whatever. So again, just another platform to bring that consistency with your visual brand too. Another example is orders. Like, if somebody wants a challenge pack or Shakeology or something, So I don't know if people still do this. I know as new coaches, I did this myself. I know sometimes my new coaches still do it because it's easiest. It makes the most sense. Sending somebody to your coach website to shop. Now, that's a whole nother conversation. I think that most of us would suggest not to do that because there's so much opportunity when you're having a conversation versus sending somebody straight to a website. But outside of that, you're also sending them just directly to Beachbody. And Beachbody isn't you, right? They don't know the value of you as their free coach when they're going straight to the brand of Beachbody. So obviously we have the cool thing called Share Cart. But before you can get to the share cart step, you have to have that conversation. So you can have that opportunity in that conversation to share who you are and share your brand. And like, I can say, hey, I've battled with IBS too. And I've really found that a lot of these things have helped me. And then through those conversations, then I would create that link for share cart. And one step further, you could create a landing page with an order form. And I say more to come on this because I'm not going to try and train everyone on that right now in this quick call. But it's something that I'm trying to figure out how to do. And once I get to that point and feel like it's teachable and I can come on here and share that with you, I would love to share that if that's something that would help you guys. But again, having something where you can send people to your own website, super simple website, not like you have to be a webmaster, you can really incorporate your brand and then they feel like they're signing up with you and you're just using Beachbody as a
vehicle.
Yes, a vehicle. Thank you, whoever that was.
Oh,
No, that was helpful. And this is one thing that I meant to say. I think this is a slide that got lost somewhere, but you know, I want to make sure, this is what I try to tell my team. People, like I said, people are signing up with you. They're not signing up with Beachbody. You should always remind yourself that you are a health coach first and foremost, or a fitness coach, or however you want to word that. You are a coach and people are signing up with you. And Beachbody is the tool that helps you get people to their goals. So you don't work for Beachbody, you work with Beachbody. And I don't know if that helps change your mindset a little bit in this whole branding thing, but I know for me it does. And when I think about like how I'm going to post and just me as an overall coach, I really try to drive that home and share that with my team. And I think that starts to help avoid those posts of, you know, the kissing your Shakeology or whatever that we try to stay away from. New customers and coaches. Oh,
Hey, Lindsay, really quick before you go on, I just wanted to give you a quick update. We are sitting at about 5:53 tonight. Okay. So just giving you a quick time check.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Okay, so new customers, coaches, last week's team call was really good. Jen shared about how you deal with leads and how she sends samples and a postcard, a welcome email, like all of that stuff has your touch on it. You can design it if you want to kind of fit your brand. Freebies and freemiums. This is something that a few of us have talked about, but I know Rachel's really dove into the freemiums idea. But a freebie could be like a free meal plan for those who can't or don't want to work with you just yet. So that's a really good freebie that you can send to somebody, and you can, again, make the visuals match your brand, but it also shares like a little more connection with you and gives the value of you as their free coach, even if they're not buying anything through you. That's been a really successful tool for me, is sending somebody a free plan. And then the freemiums, like Rachel said in her training, it's a way to add in more than just the Beachbody stuff. So I think she's done like an Instapot one and the macros one. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go look in Sweat Society and you'll get familiar with it. But you want to it helps you get in touch with your market in a different way that can relate to those 5 things about you. So I could do something about like an IBS eating guide or something like that and send out that freemium, and it's not Beachbody directly, because again, I'm leaning with my brand. So last few tips. So when we talk about go-go juice and liquid gold and chocolate salad, like when we're talking about the things that we love, the supplements that we love, but we don't call them by name, so what I just said, the reason why we do that is because if they can Google it, they will. So if you're just saying Energize and Shakeology, first and foremost, people don't know what that is. And if they want to know what it is, they're going to go Google it. And obviously, Google is only good for telling you you have cancer when your elbow hurts. But also, they're going to, I think I talk about the price. Don't let Google put a price on your value. The first thing people are going to find is like, Shakeology is $130, and they're just going to nix it, right? I would. That's why you want to talk about chocolate salad or whatever you want to call it, your superfood shake, because it starts that conversation and lets you get, again, your brand out there and in that conversation. And you can talk about your value as as a coach before you talk about the price. So it kind of went off on a tangent, but I hope that makes sense. Yes, so if you use these terms, make sure you're relating them to your brand. So if you're calling something, if you're a busy mom, you're calling it your mama juice, you better be talking about how that mama juice is getting you through chasing toddlers, running around with your kids, or like whatever that mama juice helps you in being a mom. And this is how you keep that fluidity of your brand with all of those little like taglines that you're using, like liquid gold and whatever. So for me, I have a full-time job, a busy schedule, so my go-go juice helps me get up at 4:15, get my workout done, go to work, that kind of thing. My superfood shake is something that really helps me with my IBS, so I always relate that back to one of my 5. Talk about other brands. This is a really big thing for branding. Don't just talk about Beachbody stuff. Don't just talk about your go-go juice. Talk about another protein shake that you've really been digging, or what I know some people like different workout clothing brands and stuff like that. By talking about other brands, you're showing that you're brand loyal and you're not just peddling Beachbody products. I know that we love Beachbody products, like keep talking about them for sure, but don't forget about the other stuff that you love. And this should be music to your ears. I know it is for me. Whenever I talk to somebody and later on they say, I had no idea you coached for Beachbody, to me, that tells me I'm doing my job as branding myself and my own business with being a coach. And I'm just using the Beachbody stuff to help get me there. I think that's it. I tried to like speed through that last one so I didn't lose out on time. Okay, rapid fire. So did that make sense? Do you guys have questions?
That was absolutely amazing, Lindsay. It's so funny listening to it and hearing it from someone else's perspective and going, oh, I don't do that right. And it's like hearing somebody else's idea behind it. Like, I'm sure everybody on this call can like think of something that, hey, you know, I should step it up in that area, or maybe I'm not doing that 100%. We did have a lot of, a couple people comment that they would like to learn more about Google Forms. So we will go ahead and talk to the other leaders on our leader page and just let everybody know that is a training that our new coaches are looking for. But if anybody has any other questions, please drop them in the chat and we can have Lindsay answer any of those questions for you. It's so funny. I keep looking over there and I see it says Sarah Lenore, and I'm so confused. So, any questions? Anybody at all? All right. Okay, guys. Well, I think that's it. Thank you so very much, Lindsay. Thank you, everybody, for hopping on. I hope you guys got mad ideas and everything for your branding. Again, if you have any questions, any concerns, anything like that, drop them in the team page. So good night, everybody. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.